Welcome to Drag Racing 97, coming to you from Ipswich's Willowbank Raceway, just 30 minutes down the motorway from Brisbane. Well, Willowbank today is hosting the first round of the Castrol New Year Drag Racing Series. It features a round of the Australian Top Door Slammer Championships. Two top-line American drivers, Johnny Rocker and John Shelby, are over here to take on the very best of the Australians. Currently leading the championship is Queensland's own Victor Bray. Well, Victor, with 3 wins from 3 starts and a new world speed record, you must be feeling pretty confident.
Oh yeah, it's pretty hard to feel confident in drag racing, but no, we're up here at Willowbank to give them everything again. That's what we've been trying to do the whole tour. I got a bit of help this time in the Peter Gratz just ran a 6:40. The American come straight out and ran a 6:47 straight behind him. So this is going to be tough. I think the track conditions we're going to see here today apparently seem to be all right. As long as the weather holds and get a bit of air, I think you're going to need a pretty good number to win this one.
Well, Victor Bray and Peter Gratz will be 2 of the big favourites, of course, but Paul Kasos is over there at the moment with one very determined Native American.
A guy who's really on the warpath and making his first visit to Australia is Johnny Rocker and his 33 Willies. Welcome to Willowbank Raceway, Johnny.
Well, thank you, Paul. It's great to be here. What a neat facility this is. I can't believe that this is very comparable to a very good and very famous track in America called Darlington, which I happen to own a piece of.
Well, Johnny, the question that all Australian race fans want to know is, can you or your partner John Shelby tackle the Australians this weekend at Willowbank Raceway?
You know, Victor has been really giving us a fit, and Peter Gratz has been running strong too. We're looking to do well here. John Shelby just has that car tuned up to the nth degree, and I think he's going to really tease Victor real bad today. Myself, we're struggling, but we're coming after him. You got to watch out for us Indians. We sneak through the woods.
Well, we'll find out just how sneaky Rocker is in this first round as Bumper to Bumper presents Top Door Slammer. Because Johnny Rocker qualified 8th, he will run Victor Bray in the first round. Joining me on commentary as usual, Nathan Prendergast. This first race looks to be a real pearler.
Oh, it certainly does, Rob. 2 Chevys, the 55 of Cole Dunn, the Super Performance car always turns up here at Willowbank. They blew an engine last meeting, but hey, they've got it back. Great to see.
These guys never say die, that's for sure. And of course, they're coming up against Bumper to Bumper's Peter Gratz. Gratz, fresh from a runner-up spot at the last round of the Top Door Slammer Series down at Eastern Creek. Looking strong here, qualified with a 6.45 seconds, personal best for the number 2 spot.
Yes, he's personal best by a long shot, and Peter wants to get the car to run quicker. Had a little bit of assistance from Gary Phillips, and anyone in drag racing knows that Gary Phillips can sure make these alcohol motors run hard.
Well, we spoke to Peter before. He said this is the last race of the International Series and they're willing to lean on it. We'll find out how much shortly. Cole Dunn's the man that's got the unenviable job of trying to stay in front of that bumper-to-bumper Chevrolet.
Well, the revs are up on both sides of the track. They're into stage. They come out hard, but I think it's Gratzy. Peter Gratz with the top-end charge. He's got the performance. 6.50, 348 kilometres an hour.
Another great run from Peter Gratz. He is really fired up for this meeting. There's no doubting that one. Well, the Auto 1 car of Michael King, he's been chasing the series right across Australia as well. And look at these burnouts.
Oh, great burnout from Michael King. Always puts on a show whenever he takes the Auto 1 Commodore around the country, but so does Troy Critchley.
Troy the boy Critchley. He's learned his trade from Victor Bray, the boss. Troy driving the Castrol custom line and has been pedaling it extremely well in the semi-finals in just about every event.
Yes, really has done a good job with the number 2 car. Does an excellent amount of work in the tuning department, not only on his car, but I'm pretty sure he has a fair bit of input with Victor Bray's 57.
Michael King looking to step up the Auto 1 Commodore, that's for sure, at this event. Leaning on a little bit more. The big 540 cubic engine in this car means it's a heavy combination, but King, well, he's really one of the likeable guys on the tour.
Really is one of the true gentlemen of the Door Slammer ranks, but all the guys in Top Door Slammer really know how to have a lot of fun. We saw King at Eastern Creek blow both doors off when it struck some pretty serious tyre shake though, Rob.
Yeah, they've got over that problem this weekend. It is looking strong, but Troy Critchley's always a hard guy to beat. Keep an eye on the Castrol car. The Auto 1 just in beside him now. They're gone. One flash of green. It's heads up Pro Starts in Top Door Slammer.
Oh, they head for half track, but Critchley all the way to a 661. A great pass from him. 335 kilometres per hour.
Well, Top Door Slammer, a professional category of AMBA Championship racing, brought to us by Bumper to Bumper at this first round of the Castrol New Year Series. The crowds have come out big time to see the Americans, and this is the first of them, John Shelby.
Yeah, Shelby, a very professional racer, the quickest and fastest true 57 Chevy in the world. You may notice it looks a little bit different to that of Victor Bray's because it hasn't had quite the push and shove that Victor's has had.
Certainly not like the Commodore of Lucky Valeri's. Plenty of body modification on that one.
Certainly is a two-door Commodore. Lucky has travelled around the country to follow the Top Door Slammer series. Has really put in a strong showing. Got to the semi-finals at Eastern Creek, but serious engine damage unfortunately made it that he was unable to make that semi-final.
We can see the profile of John Shelby's 57 Chevy there. There's no chop top on the roof. It's a full profile, that car. Plenty of bar work inside to protect these drivers at over 200 miles an hour.
The cars will head into stage. You'll hear the revs build up. They come out hard. The front wheels dancing. I don't think he's going to catch Shelby though. Valeri gives up the chase, and Shelby a 6:58, 324 kilometres an hour. May have got off it a little bit early.
Well, the American flag flying high. John Shelby through to the semi-final. Johnny Rocker and the Tin Indian. Can he do it? We heard him. He's after Victor Bray. He's currently second in the points. If Victor can win this race, this very race now, I think that just about gives him an unbeatable lead to retain his number one.
Look at the burnout from Victor Bray. The crowd on their feet here at Willowbank Raceway, and what a crowd we've got as well. We saw Rocker during qualifying with some ignition problems, the car running absolutely terribly, but hey, I bet he's got a few secrets up his sleeve.
Well, the car still sounded ragged in that burnout. The Tin Indians, a 1933 Willys, not a model car that was ever released here in Australia. Victor Bray, of course, he's been in 57 Chevrolet since the days of street meets at Surfers Paradise Raceway a long, long time ago.
And they've never run as quick as this one. This is the world's quickest and fastest, well actually the world's fastest door slammer. Victor, really a tough competitor, flying the flag proudly for Australians.
Well, Johnny Rocker, he will be looking to do something special on the start line. Look, he's making sure he gets a fine stage there. Has to look around the pillar of the car to just even see the lights.
The Willie certainly has a serious chop on the roof. The cars are heading into stage now. Victor Bray for Australia. Johnny Rocker for the USA. Rocker's with him. Rocker's out on Victor. Victor's got to fight back up the top end. He's got the horsepower. 648, 355 kilometres an hour. Look at the speed, Rob.
Oh, fantastic run from Victor Bray. He was in front at half track. Johnny Rocker got out on him. Fantastic pictures here from Willowbank Raceway. We'll be back after the break with plenty more action. Welcome back to Drag Racing 97 from Willowbank Raceway. Today's event marks the birth of a brand new racing category here. Top comp eliminator for supercharged cars. Paul Kasos caught up with Dennis Surmas, the track manager, who designed the bracket.
Dennis, with 19 entries at your first attempt, you must be delighted.
I'm just astonished and really pleased. It's fantastic, and it looks like we'll be looking at a 16-car field in the not too distant future.
Top comp eliminator, what a collection of open wheel and sedan style supercharged cars. 19 tried to qualify, it's come down to the final 12, and this is really set to be a fantastic debut.
Oh, it certainly is, Rob. It's such a really good way to go racing. We've got the blown sedans that we see like Daryl Woods on screen up against the dragsters and altereds like Debbie Reed, who is on screen now.
And all this racing, of course, handicapped. With drag racing, we can put any degree of handicap start in the Christmas tree mechanism, so it evens up the competition from these very quick dragsters and the sedans. You see Debbie Reed out chasing now, trying to make up her handicap. Daryl Woods a long way out in front.
Here comes Debbie Reed though, gets him just on the line. Fantastic race, 782 for the win.
Well, Debbie will be pretty pleased about that one. Here comes Tom Coonan in the CF Performance Ford LTD. He's been a real standout racer in the Wild Bunch. This is the first time that he's run something as quick as Wayne Jones's dragster.
And quick is definitely the word for the Joneses. Small block power dragster has the potential to run into the 5-second zone. The car runs a 2-speed automatic Powerglide transmission, making it the quickest Powerglide car in the world.
Well, Jones has nominated a handicap time of 6.10 seconds. Coonan a 7.65. That means that Tom Coonan will get 1.55 seconds handicap start. Then Wayne Jones is going to need that 200-mile-an-hour charge of the dragster to try and catch him.
We have a look at the handicap on the start line there. Coonan's a long way out. Now the dragster starts to chase him down. Coonan too far out in front. A 7.76, 284 for the win.
Jones with a brilliant 6.06 for the lose. He went quicker than his handicap anyway.
Andrew Searle on screen now loves his supercharged racing and his burnouts. A great showing there. Graphic display of how many people have packed into Willowbank here tonight, Rob.
Certainly is a big crowd for the first round of the Castrol New Year Series, and they are absolutely loving this Rocket Industries top comp bracket. Well, Michael Davies was supposed to be up against Andrew Searle, but unfortunately for him, got a problem, hasn't been able to make the start line. Andrew Searle will get the luxury of a free ride.
Oh, that's a nice break for Andrew Searle, a solo pass. He'll put the car into stage, test that dial in. Be sure to see him driving through the back door. The car comes off the line nicely, heads past half track and looks to be on a nice quick straight run. 7.39, 311 kilometres an hour, should be pleased with that.
Well, that's his quickest run of the day so far, so he's going to be more than happy with it. Here comes Dave Wallace now in the Brisbane Drive Shafts Commodore. Been making big inroads with this big block Chevy powered car.
Beautiful looking car it is too. He's up against Paul Brackham in this PSI blowing big block powered dragster, another great car.
Well, Paul Brackham driving for Romac, and of course the Romac team run two cars, one in top alcohol with David Glenwright behind the wheel, and Paul in the new Rocket Industries top comp. He's out here qualified high up the order and really looking forward to getting in amongst the action. Dave Wallace is the man that's going to get the handicap start. Once again, it's about this 1.5 second mark.
It's a big wait on the start line, Rob, but causes a fair bit of anxiety in the driver that has to wait. We often see red lights. The cars are going into stage now. Brackham in the dragster, as we said, the one to wait. He's the one that's got to watch the Commodore drive away.
Oh, it's a hard task. You look at that, you'd swear the dragster hasn't got a chance. Look at it, loose at half track, but the speed, Paul Brackham's there. 6.52, 302 kilometres an hour. That top end charge is what makes the difference.
Certainly, as we still saw him shut it off early and cruise through for the win. Now the number one qualifier comes out. Mark Brew in the BOC Gases dragster. Brilliant car, has run a number of fives here today in qualifying. Huge wheel stand in his last qualifying pass. Very spectacular car, Rob.
It certainly is. Now, John Payne's the man in the other lane, one of the most experienced dial-your-own handicap racers in Australia. There's no doubt about that. Mark Brew and Adrian Posibon, the owners of this Proforce car, decided to run the Rocket Industries top comp bracket to do some testing for the top alcohol meeting coming up later on in the month. Number one qualifier and looking good already.
And it's quite funny to see a 5-second alcohol car running in dial your own. Also, the other situation for Brew is rather than getting the Pro Star, which he's used to, he's got to wait for the tree to count down. Payne will leave first, then the dragster will chase him down. Brew on the march. The car looks good. The car looks quick. He's already caught Payne. Mark Brew for the win. 5.95, 362 kilometres an hour.
Australia's quickest bracket car. There's no doubt about that one. Here's another fast car, Paul Shackleton, down from Mackay. He's made the toe to the first round of the Castrol New Year Series to get in amongst this supercharged racing.
Graham Porter on screen now. This is his second ever race meeting with the Supercharger. Rob, another display of the amount of people that have come here today.
Oh, over 15,000 people packing into Willowbank Raceway just outside of Ipswich. Absolutely delighted with the crowd that's turned up for this event, and of course the racers. They enjoy putting on the show in front of the big crowds like this one.
Shackleton just backing up now. Beautifully turned out car. Australian built, I believe.
Certainly is. Won Best Engineered at the Winter Nationals back in June, and a real testament of what can be done in Australia. You don't have to import a chassis.
Yes, Shackleton has run into the 6.2s before, looking for that sort of performance here today. Porter, as I said, second ever race meeting with the Blah. He's out. Now Shackleton's got to chase him down. He has the top end charge. He's driven around Porter already. You can see the butterflies close there. Saves his dial in and rolls to a 681.
Good strong win for Paul Shackleton there. Well, this top comp, what a way to start it off. Don't go away, Queensland. We'll be back after the break with more great action from the top door slammers.
The But burnout is one of the most popular aspects of drag racing today, with the 1 million plus spectators that attend events in Australia every year. But why is it that some racers apparently set out to destroy a set of tyres that can cost as much as $1,000 before they even start to race? We'll take a look at this tyre here. As you can see, there's no tread on it whatsoever, and the surface is even somewhat slippery. However, the rubber compound is quite soft, and when the wheel spins, these tyres heat up and this slick surface gets really sticky. Just how sticky? Well, take a look at this. Well, that's just the tyre track that's been left on the start line. Imagine, if you will, what the tyre looks like. So why is it that we see some racers happy to lay rubber all the way down to half track? Well, we put that question to the king of burnouts, Castrol's Victor Bray.
Yeah, well, there's actually a bit of a science behind the burnout. What it is, in the manufacturer's recommendations that very few of us follow, I suppose, you're supposed to hold the tyre at roughly 150 degrees for about 5 seconds. So a 5-second burnout's pretty long. And on a hot day, that's probably a little bit too much. I mean, you obviously have to take into account the temperature of the day. And you know, so on a cool night, you do nice long smoky burnouts, get a bit of heat into the tyre, and gets it nice and sticky. But on a hot day, that probably works against you. And that's one of the reasons for doing a big burnout. And the other reasons, it's a hell of a lot of fun.
Well, it appears that burnouts are just as much fun for the racers as they are for you, the spectators. Now, a big burnout can actually overheat the tyres and decrease the performance of the car. So the next time you see Victor Bray cutting his burnout short, you'll know he's getting really serious.
Well, two guys that are very serious. Peter Gratz in the bumper-to-bumper Chevrolet, and of course John Shelby from the United States of America. This is getting down to the real serious part of the race meeting.
Oh, it certainly is, Rob. This is do or die. Australian pride on the line up against Shelby. Nice, strong burnout from John Shelby, putting on a great show here tonight.
Well, John Shelby, very highly rated in the USA as a privateer. You see his car runs virtually without any sponsorship at all. Peter Gratz, of course, with support from Valvoline and Bumper to Bumper. Always keen on putting on a big, big show.
And this should be really a good matchup, Rob, because both of them have run personal best around the same area. Gratz with a 6:45 this weekend, and I think Shelby's best is around the low 6:40 as well. Should be a nice close race.
Peter Gratz qualified with a 6:45, John Shelby with a 6:47, so only 200ths of a second separates them. You'd expect this to be probably the closest race of the event.
Plenty of action here at Willowbank Raceway. Great shots of John Shelby's car there. You can see him behind the wheel. In the office, so to speak. Shelby is a true professional racer. Really is good to have him here in Australia.
Well, Shelby traditionally has got very quickly off the mark. Peter Gratz, like Victor Bray, runs a fair bit of mile an hour, so it's going to be one of those sort of races where Gratz has to hope that he can run down the American. In the lights, they've gone, and it looks good.
Shelby is out on him, as you called it, Rob. Here comes Gratz. I don't think he's got enough. Shelby, 6:45 for the win.
Quick run by Shelby. Gratz, only one shoot. He is going deep, way deep. He's off the end of the track. Look at this.
Deep, all right, Rob, about 12 inches. He's in the gravel trap.
Well, I did everything as normal. I went through the traps, hit the chutes, and nothing happened. And it just didn't seem to pull up. And I thought, maybe one had come out like before, but nothing happened. It just wouldn't pull up. So I yanked on the brakes as hard as I go, and it just didn't seem to slow it down. And I was hoping to hell that there were no trees down there. I've never been down this far before, but I was worried about damaging the car, not worried about myself.
Well, Peter and the bumper-to-bumper Chevy will live to fight another day. It's the American John Shelby headed for the final.
I knew Peter Gratz would be really tough, so I was real careful and tried to get a good light, and I stepped up a little bit from qualifying, and it ran pretty much what it should have.
Well, John Shelby, will he run Victor Bray, or will Troy the boy put away the boss?
This is interesting. Oh, look at this, side by side from the teammates. The burnouts are spectacular, and once again, Rob, look at the crowd.
They have packed in here to Willowbank Raceway. The question on everybody's mind, I guess, is, are there team orders?
Well, Victor always says no, but I tell you what, I would hate to be in the pits if Troy beat Victor in this one. Victor's won 3 from 3 so far, so you could say he's on a little bit of a roll.
Victor Bray looking for that perfect score. John Shelby did it last year, went right through the series without losing a race. Can Victor Bray set that sort of record this year? Well, there's Victor in the office. Marie Bray closes him in.
Victor, the tough competitor, has won everything that's come up against him so far, has set new speed records. The man is on a roll. But Critchley, well, he's the teammate. He's got a lot of power in this custom line. He's definitely in there with a chance.
Just 22-year-old in his first season of Top Door Slammer competition, into another semi-final. He'd love to make a final, but I guess he wants a job on Monday.
Oh, he certainly does, but I don't think that's a consideration at the moment. He's going to try everything he can to get around the 57 of Victor Bray. They head into stage, the revs creep up, Victor comes out hard, Critchley's with him, but now the 57 starts to stretch his legs. That mile an hour is such a thing with this car. 6.40, the ET's there as well.
Okay, Victor, 6:40, 2:23, you're into the finals.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. Had to do it with my old mate Troy. He gets a free hand in these type of things. But no, it was really good. I'm glad that it went that fast. Really glad.
Victor Bray for Australia, John Shelby for the United States of America. What a Top Door Slammer final we've got still to come.
Castrol and Drag Racing 97 are giving viewers the opportunity to win not only some great Castrol supporters packs with autographed jacket, t-shirt, poster, etc., but also the experience of a lifetime. A trip for 2 to Melbourne's Calder Park Raceway. The lucky winners will join Victor Bray's Castrol Top Door Slammer team as part of the crew. 3 days of being on the inside of Australia's biggest race meeting.
Make sure you enter a Castrol competition line. You can be joining my Top Door Slammer team at Calder Park in Melbourne for the Australian Drag Racing Nationals. We'd love to have you.
Willowbank Raceway was constructed here on the outskirts of Ipswich by volunteer drag racing enthusiasts. It opened around 11 years ago, and it only takes a very brief look around the installation today to see just how well it has flourished. What you see now is the finest drag racing installation outside of the United States of America. The success of drag racing was recognised by the local authority, which then began to encourage other forms of motor racing into the area. This has seen the development of Willowbank into a motorsports precinct unlike any other in the country. As current plans for the future come to fruition, this area will take its place as the focal point of motor racing not only in Queensland but in Australia. Already Willowbank boasts one of the most modern and best equipped sprint go-kart tracks in the country. Built to international standards, fully floodlit, with excellent pit facilities, the Ipswich Kart Club can justifiably be proud of what has been achieved by their energetic band of enthusiasts. The installation is capable of hosting any event on the Australian calendar. The public hasn't been forgotten either, as Ipswich Kart Hire operates on the site, providing people of all ages the opportunity to experience the thrill of racing firsthand in real sprint karts on a real racetrack. The Willowbank Motorsports Precinct is also home to the Ipswich and West Moreton Auto Club's exciting short circuit track for sedan-style cars, with races from all over southeast Queensland competing here regularly. I'm now standing on the site of the newest project here at Willowbank. A new complex that'll handle all forms of circuit racing, including touring cars and motorcycles. To be built on this land immediately adjacent the end of the drag strip, the new complex will be independently operated like all the installations here at Willowbank. With this new track, a new speedway also being mooted for the area, motor racing is now having a significant impact on the economy of the whole Ipswich area. A fact not lost on Councillor Paul Pasali, who heads up the Council's Economic Development Committee.
We realise is that the economic benefits to this region are tremendous, and it's great to see people enjoying themselves, spending money and creating jobs, and the council is 100% behind drag racing and the complex here. It's fantastic.
With this sort of cooperative approach, the future of not only drag racing, but motorsport in Queensland is very bright indeed.
Time now to check out the second round of Top Comp Eliminator. Tommy Coonan still in, fighting hard.
He certainly is. Look at the strength of that burnout. He's got a supercharged small block Chevy on board, as does Debbie Reed. But of course the dragster, a far lighter and more efficient vehicle over the drag strip. Her handicap's down in the 6-second zone. Once more there's a handicap start to apply. Coonan will get about 1.5 second start.
Rocket Industries getting in there supporting Top Comp. Its first opening here at Willowbank Raceway. What a great category. It's awesome to see these dragsters and open cars up against these supercharged sedans.
Really is a first for Australia, and the pictures we're getting tonight, absolutely a fantastic indication of how close some of this racing is. You watch Debbie Reed, she's one of Australia's fastest women, but when she gets out here, she's just a fierce drag racer.
Coonan out in front, here comes Reed. It's going to be close on the line, I can't pick it. Coonan gets there, 773, 278 kilometres now. That had to be awfully close.
Have a look here on the Castrol replay, 17 thousandths of a second. That's what it looks like in drag racing.
Oh, a great run there. Debbie just missing out. She did everything right, but it came down to the luck for Tom Coonan. Paul Brackham now up against Mark Brew, the Romac twins.
Both cars with Romac sponsorship, of course. There's Brackham on screen now. Once more, these guys, they've got inspired getting out here with the door slammers. They are doing bigger burnouts than ever. The Romac girls doing double duty, backing both cars up into their own tyre tracks. Adrian Poggibon and Mark Brew making some big advances with this car. The quickest bracket car in Australia these days.
Oh, it certainly is a 5-second car. I bet there's plenty of people in the crowd that would like to thank Romac for their involvement here this evening. Plenty of showmanship, plenty of colour.
Well, Mark Brew is one of the quickest drivers in Australia when it comes to reaction times. Mark Brew has a 4.3 reaction time average. Paul Brackham to come up against that. Leaves too soon. There's a red on the bottom of the tree. Mark Brew's got another one in the bag.
He'll drive it through the back door anyway. 596, 363 kilometres an hour. Very consistent car, Rob.
Well, Andrew Searle, he's been consistent of late as well. Won the Coca-Cola Wild Bunch Classic featured on the last episode of Drag Racing 97. He's up against Paul Shackleton, making his first appearance on the show down here at Willowbank Raceway. A very popular racer from Mackay.
I said it before and I'll say it again, very well presented car, love the look of this thing, would like to see it perhaps in the future step up to the likes of Top Alcohol, but doing a good job in Top Comp here this weekend.
Don't be surprised if you see Paul move into Top Alcohol, but what he's worried about now is trying to run down this Capri. Well, it's all academic. Shackleton also with a red light on the bottom of the Christmas tree. Across the line first, but guess what? Andrew Searle with the win because he kept it clean.
7.56 for Searle there, looking good, keeping up the good performance that we saw on the last program. Time now for the Jet Cars, brought to us by Hi-Tech and Pacific Performance. What a show these things put on, Rob.
These things, you can't measure the horsepower, it's all down to thrust, the afterburners. These are the same engines that you'll find in an F-111 fighter bomber.
These cars are incredible. They have the engines at the moment around about 60%, just dumping raw fuel in the pipe. That's what you see the flame show being caused by. Oh, the pacifier car there, I think he's got a problem, Rob.
Yeah, certainly looks like Leyland Blee won't be able to do it. There's the signal, there's a one-car race. Chuck Haynes in the dragster. He's going to put on a fire show for the crowd.
The percentage comes up on the Gravity Storm. He brings it into stage around 100, 110% on the burner, lights the car up, cruises down the racetrack. Oh, shuts it off a little bit early there, but still runs 566.
Almost 400 kilometres an hour. I think we'll see more than 400 later on tonight. Have a look at this thing. Absolutely lighting up Willowbank Raceway.
The next meeting at Willowbank Raceway will be round 2 of the 1997 Castrol New Year Series, featuring a round of the Australian Top Fuel Championship brought to you by Auto Pro. Graham Cowan, Rochelle Splatt, Robin Kirby, Roy Smith and all the Australian stars taking on the very best from the United States in Glen Micris. In addition to the top fuelers, we'll also be seeing all the stars of Top Alcohol with our local racers amongst the toughest. So don't miss it, the second round of the 1997 Castrol New Year Drag Racing Series here at Willowbank Raceway, the Australia Day long weekend, Saturday night, January 25th.
One semi-final to come, and it's the Rocket Industries Top Comp. Mark Brew with the bye run. The team has found a head gasket problem. They've elected to just do the minimum pass required to make the final, to give them the time to fix it before they come back and fight out the first ever Top Comp final. So Brew will come back, but not exactly the spectacular passer we're used to.
No, he's only a non-5 second pass of the day so far. Tommy Coonan and Andrew Searle now, both of these guys love their burnout.
Well, we're looking for which sedan will take on the fastest drive-your-own car in the country, because the Bruin Posibon Proforce Dragster, he's into the final. Is it going to be Coonan? Is it going to be Searle making his second final round appearance in a row? We're going to find out in a 7-second drag race.
Well, it's safe to say that both of these guys have been running hot of late. Rob Coonan, a real standout in Wild Bunch, as you said, and Andrew Searle, the winner of the Coca-Cola Wild Bunch Classic. Coonan's got a new supercharger on the car and has stepped the thing right up. Was running around the 8.0s when I first saw him come into the drag racing scene, down into the 760s, 770s this time.
Another handicap start, but not a very big one. Out goes Coonan. Searle's chasing him. A lot of mile an hour from the Capri, but Coonan's there first.
774 for Tommy Coonan, 276 kilometres an hour. Time now for the finals.
Yes, all the support categories here at the first round of the Castrol New Year Series. The first one we see is Junior Dragster. Kids 6 to 16 out there racing cars as quick as 100 kilometres an hour over the 8th mile. Jordana Pullen trying to chase down Shane Tucker in the Proforce car. Tucker with a good lead. I don't think Jordana will catch him. Shane Tucker wins Junior Dragster.
13.58 at 70 kilometres an hour. Time now for Superformance Super Street Eliminator. Kerry Jeffries up against Steve Powell.
Kerry Jeffries running in the Mickey Thompson tyres lane in that later model Falcon. He's doing the chasing. Powell out in front. I don't know whether Jeffries can catch him. This handicap's too hard to pick.
Well, Powell's out in front at the moment. Jeffries coming on strong. Powell gets there first. 11.84, 170 kilometres an hour for the win.
Big win in Superformance Super Street there, as now we move to Modified Bike Eliminator. Peter Batley on screen. He'll be taking on Fabio Crystal.
Crystal on the road bike, the beautifully turned out Suzuki. Let's watch him off the start line now. No wheelie bar, has to control the clutch, slides it out, the legs dancing off the side of the bike. Batley with the chase.
Well, Crystal did a fantastic job on the street bike. Street tyre, no slick, looks over his shoulder and says, "Thanks very much, I'll take the winner's trophy." 11.26 seconds.
Time now for the final of Super Sedan Eliminator, brought to us by Craigar Performance, and it's Aris Contaleon on screen up against Piddington.
Yeah, Darren Piddington down from Mackay, another one of these North Queensland races, enjoying the first round of the Castrol New Year Series. Aris Contaleon, what a fantastic car. Looks almost stock from the outside, but inside it is all race car.
Car's going to stage. Contaleon on the rev limiter. The car leaves like a pro stocker. He's got the chase on his hands. Piddington's out in front at the moment. The Escort charging away.
Crossed the line first, but guess what? Left a red light on the tree. Contaleon will take the win in Craigar Performance Super Sedan Eliminator.
Seen a few red lights so far this evening. Time now for modified final. Kenlow Race Cars brings you Rodney Hansen and Dave Ferricks in the final side by side.
Ferricks, one of the toughest modified races in Australia, in this rear-engine dragster, chasing down Rodney Hansen in the T-bucket.
Hansen's got the win, another red light. Rodney Hansen will cruise through 913, 230 kilometres an hour.
Well, we've got one more final in this section, and of course it's Competition Bike Eliminator. Fabio Crystal back for a replay. Running two bikes at the same meeting, he comes up against Gavin Eales on the pro bike.
Really having a good evening is Fabio Crystal. The bike is beautifully turned out, really must be commended for his presentation. Eales on the pro bike, likewise, great looking machine.
One of the quickest in Australia, Gavin Eales gives away that big handicap start, but now the pro bike starts to make inroads. Fabio Crystal on the A-streeter, Gavin Eales all the way. Well, the other side of the break, we've got the big three finals, so don't go away. over 15,000 people here at Willowbank Raceway, taking in all the finals action. Hi-Tech Oil Super Comp Eliminator coming up first. Once more, dragster against sedan, but these times no superchargers. Greg Lay in this beautiful brand new dragster put together by Ken Lowe Race Cars, up against Colin Lloyd in the Headset Cylinder Heads G-Gas Commodore.
Yes, Colin Lloyd, one of the most experienced racers in drag racing. Greg Lay, the first ever race meeting for this car. They licensed it at the last event, but this is the first time he's been able to compete with it.
A brilliant effort from Greg Lay, top qualified, and here he is in the final at his very first event with this new car. Colin Lloyd, of course, very experienced, current Australian champion in Superstock Eliminator, up against the competition Eliminator style car of Greg Lay's. Handicap will apply, away goes Lloyd, look at the chase, this is a long, long delay.
Well, it looks as though Lay's got no chance, but here comes the dragster. Greg Lay gets the win. Congratulations, 752.
Congratulations, Greg, from top qualifier to winning the event. You've got to be happy.
Yeah, very happy, very happy. This is our first event in this car, and to come away with a win at the first meeting is just a dream come true.
And anybody in particular that's responsible for this?
Yeah, well, Ken Lowe built the car, so I'd like to thank Ken Lowe Race Cars, Riley Lay Custom Imports, and my family for supporting me in my sport.
Fantastic win in Hi-Tech Oil Super Comp there for Greg Lay. Now we're into the Rocket Industries Top Comp. The sedan versus the dragster. The supercharged action is never ending at Willowbank Raceway.
Oh, certainly not, Rob. Another great burnout there from Tommy Coonan. Boy, look at Mark Brew. Dragsters aren't meant to do that.
Mark Brew absolutely inspired in his and Adrian Posibon's Pro Force dragster. Runs with some help from BOC, Torco, Romac, etc. But they're out here to do some testing. They came to test. They're in the final.
Well, why wouldn't he be inspired with a backup crew like that? Definitely would get me going. Tommy Coonan backs it up now. Dialed in with a 768. Mark Brew, he's got to be in the fives.
Certainly is. 5.93 he's dialed in. So there's over 1.7 seconds handicap start. Coonan's going to be a long, long way down the racetrack before Mark Brew ever sees a green light. Have a look at this. In the office with Mark Brew. Shifting into the low gear, making sure it's out of the reverser. The tacho working overtime. Look at that, the big supercharged engine. Just a small 350 Chevrolet, but a quick blast of the throttle fogged in the camera.
Bit of fuel on the lens there. Both cars heading into stage. Listen to the small blocks. Rev hard. Coonan will leave first. A big handicap here. The dragster's got to chase hard. Brew, a little bit too hard.
Red lights by 5,000ths of a second. Catches Coonan in the end, but it doesn't matter. Tommy Coonan the winner.
Well, the first winner of the new Top Comp Eliminator series, you've taken on one of the dragsters and you've come out a winner.
Yeah, thanks, Tanya. It was a good run. It's good to come up against a top qualifier, quick car. When you leave them first and they're chasing from behind, there's no backing off. And the CF Performance car today hasn't missed a beat. We're really happy with the way the whole thing's performed and the guys that have helped us. It's really great.
It's time now to update the Winter Smash Repairs Track Championship scoreboards. In Modified Bike Eliminator, Peter Batley's gone to the head of the pack with 214 points from Fabio Crystal, Steve Cray, Darren Bockholt and Wendy Parsons, who was the leader just one meeting ago. In Superformance Super Street Eliminator, Ricky Steffens still heads the pack. Steve Powell, Kerry Jeffries, Carl Schroeder, Darren Howbrig and Peter Smith following on behind. Craigar Performance Super Sedan sees Aris Contolian holding a very handy lead from John Widgery, Ray Hoffman, Steve Tatum and Neil Maxwell. Ken Lowe Racecars Modified Eliminator, Rodney Hansen's win at this meeting has elevated him into the lead from Russell Schaefer, Paul Beecham, Arthur Telford and John Nisbet. While in Competition Bike Eliminator, Gavin Eales has gone to the front on 135 points from John Parker, John Aiden, Fabio Crystal and Warren Dunn. Hi-Tech Oil Super Comp Eliminator sees Greg Lay shoot to the top of the leaderboard with 190 points. Jeff Watson, Dave Tucker, Colin Lloyd, James Woodward and Lindsay Randall all fighting for a spot there too.
Well, it's come down to the final of bumper-to-bumper top door slammer. Victor Bray, doesn't he put on a burnout?
Look at that from the Burnout King, Victor Bray. The crowd love it. Here comes John Shelby from the USA. This guy's very experienced on the match race circuit. Hey, that's just as big.
Not to be outdone at all is John Shelby. A huge burnout. Look at him pulling up on the finishing line.
He's taken a full quarter mile for that burnout. We heard Victor Bray talk about burnouts before. He said, yeah, it's good to get the tyres nice and hot, but I think it comes down to these guys are having fun.
Oh, they are. That's what Victor said. He said they're a load of fun, and I tell you what, everybody in the place agrees. Really is a top show. Victor Bray just backing up now. The crew come over, run the fuel across the butterflies.
And of course, these engines, with that methanol fuel supercharged, it can freeze those butterflies closed. That little squirt of fuel stops that happening so that when Victor snaps that throttle open, he's going to unleash 2,500 horsepower.
Shelby finally makes his way back to the start line after that monster burnout. Shelby really has been a great representative for his country racing here in Australia.
Of course, last year, John Shelby undefeated. He won 17 races out of 17. Victor Bray is in the other lane. This year, no one's been able to beat him. Can he keep that perfect record? Won't that make it interesting if Shelby can come back next year?
You're not wrong there, Rob. It'll make for a great best-of-3 matchup. Well, can Victor Bray take it out again? 3 from 3 so far. This will make 4.
257 Chevrolets. Victor Bray for Castrol and Australia. John Shelby for the United States of America. 5,000 horsepower unleashed. Shelby's in front.
Victor's coming back though. The top end charge from the Castrol machine, but 6.30. You can't beat that. That is so quick. Victor Bray, unbeatable.
That is the quickest pass ever under the new rules for the superchargers. We see here on the Castrol replay, Victor Bray clearly behind. Shelby had him at half track, shuts it off as Victor Bray blasts past.
Well, Victor, not only have you made it 4 out of 4, but you've just run a 6.30, the fastest under the new rules.
Oh, it felt good too, I can tell you.
The Americans are going to go home with a tail between their legs if you keep this up.
Races of the calibre of John Shelby and Johnny Rocket don't go home with the tail between the legs. Last year, if anyone remembers back, John Shelby beat me 17 times in a row, so we had our blood boiling this year, and to run that fast, it felt that fast too, I can assure you, but just so good, just absolutely terrific, and I really want to thank the American guys for coming here. They're such tough races. I'll bring the best out in the Aussies, I'm sure they do.
Another brilliant performance from Castrol's Victor Bray. Nathan, what a record.
Certainly is. 4 from 4, Rob. True Aussie legend, that man.
Well, he's cleaned up top door slammer. He'll hang on to his #1 title again for another year. The Jets, they came back to close out the meeting. Problem still for Leyland Bleed, but Chuck Haynes, doesn't this guy know how to light up the Queensland sky?
The Gravity Storm Dragster has really put on a fantastic show all evening. You can hear the percent of the engine starting to rise. He's up around about the 80% mark now, dumping fuel in the pipe, hitting the switch on the steering wheel, lighting up the night sky.
He said he wanted to run 400 kilometres an hour for the Queensland fans when he went into this race. We'll keep an eye on the speed, but this looks pretty fast.
Certainly does. Quick run, 5.66. There it is, 440 kilometres an hour.
Well, what a way to see out the first round of the Castrol New Year Series. The crowd absolutely loving it. Of course, we'll bring you the second round of the Castrol New Year Series featuring top fuel and top alcohol on Drag Racing 97, Sunday, February 2nd.